Hello Libra, and welcome to Elevated Intuition. Today we are looking at the energy for November for you. We're going to ask some questions, figure out some answers. We'll pull those cards back in a little bit to talk about as some advice. We're going to get some more relationship information about that. Not full-blown relationship. I'll do a full-blown relationship reading next week, but November for Libra. What energies will be flowing this month for Libra? Oh, Libra, you might have oh, interesting. There were a lot of cards that felt like wanted to jump out and just didn't, and then we get these two. I was only going to take one, but these both came out. And we've got Death in reverse, and then we have Eight of Pentacles. So I feel like there's a lot of finishing up where you are, or just continuing what you're doing. A lot of nose to the grindstone kind of thing. Being very particular in your work, just working really hard on either finishing something or just continuing to complete something that you're bringing into November. It feels like it's something that you're proud of. It feels like you're something that you are happy to work on, because it is a lot of energy towards it. It feels like a pride factor to it that, you're proud of your work. You're proud of what you're doing. Could be something that's like a hobby and you're just getting better at it. Or that definitely getting better at it and working harder on it. And bum glue. I read this book. It was about writing, but it was this guy who did a marathon, and the secret to finishing a marathon and the secret to finishing a book is kind of the same thing, and he called it bum glue. Not necessarily for a marathon, but sitting there and, bum as in your butt, like gluing your butt to the chair and making sure it gets done and doing it. And kind of the same thing with that marathon, where you just have that grit to just, this is what I'm doing, and you have that mindset of completion. So that's interesting. That's great for whatever you're doing, just having that grit to do it. And then where should you focus your energies in November? Very nice. You might want to look up from your work a little bit and participate in this exchange between you and your community, you and your friends, you and your family, even just you and a partner. This talks about, you could be even working at some sort of food drive or handing food out to other people. If you're the one in need, that's okay too, and understand that this is a cycle, that sometimes you're the one who's able to give, and sometimes you're giving your time, sometimes you're giving money, sometimes you're giving food, and sometimes you are the one who is receiving, and sometimes it's time from somebody else that you need, sometimes it's money from somebody else that you need. So whatever side of the coin that you're on, it feels like it's a flow of energy really between people, and it's a beautiful flow of energy. It's really the community, like a communal flow of energy. So focus on that for November, and challenges you may face are challenges for Libra. And we've got the Magician in reverse. This is really interesting. The Magician is somebody who's a master manifester, somebody who gets exactly what they want, somebody who understands that they have the power to do that. I feel like when the Magician comes out in reverse, a lot of times it's imposter syndrome, that we feel like we don't deserve something. That's why I want to come back here to this Six of Pentacles, because you do deserve it. You're a member of this flow. You're a very important member, right? You are I don't want to say a cog in the wheel because, or a cog in the thing, but we are connected to other people. And, you know, if somebody is offering you something, you take it, because it's not just for you. It's also for them to feel good that they're able to give you something that you need. And a lot of times pride gets involved, and we say no to things that we absolutely need for no good reason, for pride, and we make things harder on ourselves. And I feel like the magician understands this, because they know that in the future, if they need something today and somebody is able to help them out with it, like it just pops up, like they actually manifested that. They actually needed that. There was a video I did, it's a short, where we were just in the mountains, and we went down this trail. We had never gone down it before, had no intention of going there, and we just found ourselves there. And there were people on this trail who were stuck. And we have a winch on our Jeep, so we were able to pull them out and help them to get them on their way. And it was like at dusk, and it was going to get very cold, and they were not in a good position. But the thing is, like, they accepted that, and I know that they would prefer to had not needed that, but it filled us up with such gratitude. We were so happy that we were able to help them. I think we were happier that we were able to help them than they were to receive the help, even though they were pretty, it was mud. They were covered in mud because they were trying to hike out of there to get to the road to find somebody. And we just happened to come down the road. But the thing is understand that you manifested that. Like, you asked for that. Like, they asked for that. Like, they were like, man, we really could use some help. We really need some help. And for some reason, this connection that we have with our universe, we heard that cry in some way and turned down that road, and we're just, boom, there to help them. And it took us it was 10 minutes. It was nothing. And usually the people who can help you, it's nothing. Not nothing, but it's super easy for them to do. Love this. Okay, so then the last card we have here is the Wheel of Fortune. I was just talking about, this, because this flow, this being in your community, this flow of energy. And then we get the Wheel of Fortune, which so much talks about karma, which talks about kind of being in the right place at the right time, but because you're setting that intention, you're setting that right intention that you want to help people, and then in turn people want to help you. So don't exclude yourself from one part of that cycle. Very interesting, Libra. Okay, so let's talk about relationships for November. And for you, Libra, okay, I'm laughing that you got the High Priestess in reverse for overall relationships in November, because I pulled that for another group. I feel like I feel like it's very much related to this Magician in reverse. And look at all the major arcana cards that you have here, Libra. I feel like you don't really know what's going on with other people because you've disconnected yourself from them. And that's why we have all of these reminders about how powerful you are and how to connect with other people. Intuition, I mean, the High Priestess is the quintessential intuition card. It is that knowing. It is that like I was describing, like finding yourself on a path that you just knew you're supposed to be there. And for whatever reason, like you're shutting yourself out from that right now, whether you feel like you don't deserve it or you don't feel like connected with others. I feel like when we have got the karma here, I feel like it's, we really need to be connected with the community. And I also feel like it's going to be very fruitful for you. It's going to be very abundant for you because it's not only people helping you, it's you helping other people too. It's going to feel good. And then we have the 10 of Wands. This is for work relationships for November. It might be, work relationships seem like they may be hard. Work is work, right? And it doesn't actually surprise me when you have the 8 of Pentacles here, because this is working super hard on something. But you might be taking on more than you really need to. Maybe it's because you see something happening and you have to. Maybe you feel like your coworkers are dropping the ball on something and you feel like you're the only one who can go in and pick things up. But work feels very strained, and I almost feel like you're bringing it on yourself in that way, because I feel like you aren't accepting help. And sometimes people offer help and you don't even really realize they're offering help. So just understand, you don't have to work as hard as you're working. You can, if it starts to feel overwhelming, I mean, it's one thing, because I feel like the 8 of Pentacles sometimes is a pleasure to do what you're doing and you really like in that moment. But there is like a tipping point where it can become overwhelming, and you might need to actually directly say, hey, this is getting overwhelming. I need to put some things down. I'm carrying way too much. And then Koala Spirit. Spirit has a plan. Oh, I love this because I love it with the Magician in reverse, and I love it with that story that I told about being in the right place at the right time, understanding that there are forces, and I love it with the Wheel of Fortune, understanding that there are forces acting that are bigger than you and more than you, and actually that you can connect with those forces and conspire with them. With this 6 of Pentacles, like all you have to do is start being in that, taking part in that community. Armadillo Spirit, set healthy boundaries. This has actually come out for several other signs as well. And I feel like, especially when you have the 10 of Wands, like in your work situation where you might be taking on too much. I mean, it's one thing if you are, if you're like if you're self-employed and it's really hard to like put some things down, but maybe there are like, maybe you do have to hire somebody to do your website, even though, yes, you're more than capable of doing it, but that's not your specialty kind of thing. So the set healthy boundaries with other people, like maybe you aren't going to take on their work, but also set healthy boundaries with yourself. Like, okay, I know that I am excellent at doing this, but you can't possibly do everything. So especially if you're feeling overwhelmed. Rebirth and reinvention. Very nice. It's interesting that this comes out when we've got Death in reverse, because Death in reverse talks about change. I almost feel like change is constant. Change is always happening, but I almost feel like it's something that's less happening to you and more that you are able to craft and enact for yourself, especially once you start believing in yourself and this Magician energy. Yeah, so big revelation for you, and understanding about being in the cycle of life and other people and your role in it. And then give in to passion. Very nice. So I feel like I have to remind you that because you are working so hard that you have to feed your soul. You have to feed your passion. And sometimes, and that maybe that's part of the healthy boundaries too, where you're like, okay, I am really into what I'm working on, but I'm only going to do it for these hours. And then after that, I'm just going to rest and relax and maybe listen to some music, maybe create music, maybe write a poem. but certainly follow something that's in the lines with my passion. And I almost feel like that is helpful with the 10 of Wands, where you feel like you're carrying too much. And it, you know, these 3 cards, the set the boundaries, make sure you're feeding your soul and not carrying too much. So that's what I have for you, Libra. I hope you have a fantastic November, and I will see you in the next reading. Thank you.